Hello and welcome to Believe Housing's podcast. I'm Matt Riley, your host for today, and I work in Believe Housing's marketing and communications team. We'll be using our podcast to chat to people who are experts in their particular field, and we'll get insight into how their work affects our people, our customers, and our business. Today, I'm joined by Believe Housing's Executive Director of Investment, Growth and Performance, Alan Smith. Hello, Alan.
Hi, Matt.
So let's jump straight in with the big news. We've recently secured an exciting injection of funding into Believe Housing. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, that's right. We obviously had investors in the business from 2015 when we first sort of floated, and we've done some amazing stuff with that. But there came a point where we knew that to further our growth ambitions and continue to invest in our existing homes and communities, there was going to come a point where we'd have to raise additional finance. So as we've worked through the pandemic and considered what our ambitions were to aid our recovery from the pandemic and assist our growth strategy at the same time, we commenced a financing project from late summer through mid-autumn and spoke to a number of banks and investors. And I'm pleased to say there was a huge amount of interest and demand in our business based on what we'd done, what our kind of financial metrics were looking like, and alongside the growth ambitions that we had. And it's great for us and for this part of the world to see so much interest in our business.
Yeah. And so where is the extra finance coming from? Is it private sector or?
Yeah, it's all private finance. It's a mixture of funding from banks, which is flexible and allows us to sort of to deal with kind of short-term decisions, and also a private placement investor, and that gives us some real long-term security. And the way that the markets have gone in recent times, it also allows us to reduce the cost of interest within the business as well, which is always quite nice.
Yeah. This all seems to be fairly groundbreaking. Has anyone else in the housing sector done something like this?
Yeah, it's not unusual for the sector to finance itself in this way, and there are generally headlines every week of housing associations that have either raised money through the bond market or through private placement or through banks in the way that we've done that. So it's quite a well-trodden path. Everybody is slightly different in terms of the blend they put together and the different investors that come on board. As I say, we've secured investment from 2 banks and a private placement investor to meet our needs. And the great thing about that was the choice that we had because of the flexibility and the interest that was afforded to us.
And what sort of level of funding we're talking about?
We've increased our investment into Believe to around about £260 million. And that reflects our growth ambitions over the next sort of 3 to 5 years, where we want to invest more in new homes and existing existing communities. So we were sort of working back from both what we thought we needed and what we felt we could raise in the markets and with banks at this point in time.
And what parts of our business are going to see the biggest impact from this funding?
Across the piece, hopefully, and that's the aim of the organisation, is to do that. And our corporate plan sort of knits together lots of different elements of what we're trying to achieve here. Ostensibly, we want to build more homes, and since 2015, we've already built or committed to 750 homes, which is a great achievement for an organisation of our age. We want to add another 1,250 homes in the portfolio over the next 5 years. So that was the starting point of our ambition. Is obviously there's a lot of investment needed to build homes at that sort of scale. So that was where we started from. But that then knits very nicely into the work we're doing with our existing stock and our existing communities around our placemaking agenda, where we're looking to change the offer, improve the areas in some cases. So this investment allows us to continue to do that as well. This is in addition to what we already invest in our homes, because obviously we invest every year in new replacement programs for existing components and also repairs and maintenance. So this is in addition to all of that we're doing. But also the board thought was really important that as we come out of the pandemic, we plan ahead in terms of that continuing reconnection, improved connection with our customers. And our community investment program will be broadened this year. So we invested more money into helping sort of community groups and charities within our in our operating area as well, and also our employability program, sensing that there will be some challenges facing individuals and communities. So we're investing in lots of things to kind of continue to support and improve the areas that we live in.
Excellent. And why do you think that the people who've invested in us are so keen to work with us and invest in what we do?
They saw, or they've seen a lot of positivity about our business. They've seen that we've come an awful long way in a relatively short space of time. We're a financially strong and stable business, which is always a great starting point, probably the most important starting point for an investor. They want to be sure that their investment is a good one and it's a safe one. And obviously, we need to meet a number of financial hurdles that they set us to sort of afford that level of investment and price, which is another factor. So they could see an awful lot of positives around what we've done, and equally a lot of positives about what we plan to do as well. They think that the governance and the management of the organisation is really strong, and they were really impressed with the work that we've done around culture and how the organisation has really taken some huge strides forward in the last couple of years.
I'd imagine a number of people across Believe Housing have been working pretty hard to achieve all of this. Where do you go next? What's the next big challenge?
You're right, and it's been a really intense project, and we've had a really good project team working on this now for some months. We've had some great support from the board, and the board have been very flexible as well through the task and finish group that they established. So it was quite a challenge and quite an ambitious challenge, not necessarily to do it, but in the time scale that we'd set ourselves. We've had some really good advisors helping us as well, and our sort of financial advisors, Chatham, and our legal advisors, Trowers, and our tax advisors, Deloitte, have all done their bit to try and make sure that we got this over the line on time. Our next big challenge is to make it all happen. So we put the finance in place, we put the team in place to kind of manage through the increased sort of volume and complexity of the things that we're doing, and then it's kind of over to the other part of the organisation to put in place delivery plans, particularly for the new homes. So our development team are currently looking at what that means for them and the partnership and networks that they've built, and then across the organisation, the work we've done with all of our spender managers really in terms of what the budgets and the investment needs are across the business for the immediate coming financial year, but the subsequent years after that as well.
Great stuff. Well, thanks very much for your time, Alan. That's all for this edition of Believe Housing's podcast. We'll be back soon, so keep your eyes and ears peeled. And don't forget, you can follow Believe Housing on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can find out more about us on our website at believehousing.co.uk. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.